senior IRS officials bravely testified under oath that the United States Department of Justice shielded both Joe and Hunter Biden for years, no matter how egregious their behavior. Now, keep in mind, these two whistleblowers, they're not political actors. They are risking their careers and their reputations and sacrificing their right to privacy to expose what they saw as malfeasance and outright corruption. They're coming forward because it is the right thing to do, and they want the American people to know the truth. Just listen to whistleblower, Democrat, Joseph Ziegler in his own words. Take a look.
People are saying that I must be more credible because I'm a Democrat who happens to be married to a man. I'm no more credible than this man sitting next to me due to my sexual orientation or my political beliefs. The truth is, my credibility comes today from my job experience with the IRS and my intimate knowledge of the agency's standard and procedures.
I thought Democrats loved whistleblowers. They like the hearsay whistleblower if they can impeach Donald Trump. Now, this isn't some kind of vast right-wing conspiracy. According to IRS agent Joseph Ziegler, there is a mountain of evidence that Hunter Biden committed serious felonies. Take a look.
With respect to the 2014 tax year, Hunter Biden did not report any of the money he earned from Burisma for the 2014 tax year, which would have been a tax loss to the government of $124,000. Thus, as I read the public documents as the Department of Justice action against Hunter Biden, there is nothing that indicates Hunter Biden will be required to amend his false tax return for 2018. A false tax return that includes improper deductions for prostitutes, sex clubs, and his adult children's tuition. It appeared to me, based on what I experienced, that the U.S. Attorney in Delaware in our investigation was constantly hamstrung, limited, and marginalized by DOJ officials as well as other U.S. attorneys. I still think that a special counsel is necessary for this investigation.
There's something to write off: prostitutes and sex club memberships. Now, despite everything you just heard, any investigation into the Bidens was apparently frowned upon at Biden's DOJ, and here's Ziegler on CBS. Listen to this.
Why did you want to interview Hunter Biden's adult children?
So a lot of the business deductions, expenses related to the adult children.
Did you get the approvals?
So we never received the approvals to talk to those people.
What did the assistant U.S. attorney tell you?
That's going to get us into hot water.
Is that in the IRS handbook, avoiding hot water?
No, but I mean, I was asking to do these certain things, and roadblock after roadblock was put up in front of me.
Protecting the Biden syndicate. Remember, according to multiple witnesses, investigators, they were set to interview Hunter Biden in 2020 as part of their investigation, but they were ultimately blocked from doing so after FBI federal officials tipped the Bidens off. But even without an interview, there was a ton of evidence of wrongdoing, and that includes bank records and suspicious activity reports, eyewitness accounts, a ton of material on Zero Experience Hunter Biden's laptop. Viewer warning, what you're about to see is quite graphic. The children may want to run and get cookies at this moment. Take a look.
When Hunter Biden paid for this woman to do this with him, to travel across state lines from California to Washington, D.C. on June 15th. This is a violation of the Mann Act. This was prostitution. This is an excerpt from a SARS report that we've read in the Treasury, and I think you all have looked at these too, showing that victim one was supposedly an employee of Owasco. But I would like to point out, this is not really what most paralegals do.
Okay, so why wasn't Hunter charged with a felony after a 5-year investigation? Why just that slap on the wrist? Is the DOJ, are they really now that politicized, that corrupt, that abusively biased, that weaponized for the Democrats? Now, according to the second whistleblower, IRS investigator Gary Shapley, the Department of Justice has, well, a lot of explaining to do. Take a look.
In November of 2022, the statute of limitations was set to expire for the 2014 and 2015 charges in D.C. which included the 2014 felonies for the attempt to evade or defeat tax and fraud or false statement regarding Burisma income earned by Hunter Biden in those years. The statute of limitations had been extended through a tolling agreement with Hunter Biden's defense counsel, and they were willing to extend it past November 2022. Weiss allowed those to expire. I don't claim to be privy to United States Attorney Weiss or Attorney General Garland's communications, but United States Attorney Weiss told us that he was not the deciding person, that he had requested and was denied special authority after D.C. declined charges, and that if California declines, he will have to request special authorities again. I understood the gravity of those admissions. Whether full responsibility lies with United States Attorney Weiss or Attorney General Garland is for Congress, the Inspector Generals, and ultimately the public to decide.
All right, let's not forget, this isn't about some kind of minor financial crime or tax mistake, according to these whistleblowers. And the House Oversight Chairman, James Comer, who will join us in a minute, this shows a pattern of what is serious misconduct involving millions and millions of dollars in foreign cash with a paper trail a mile long. Watch this.
How much money did Hunter Biden and his associates receive from the Romanian company you identified?
So that amount would be from Romania. So the approximate total transfers from the Romania company would have been $3.1 million to everyone.
$3.1 million. How much did Hunter Biden and his business associates receive from State Energy HK Limited through the Robinson Walker LLC?
So total transfers from State Energy HK to Rob Walker was $3 million.
$3 million. Was there a $100,000 payment from CEFC Infrastructure to Owasco PC, Hunter Biden's professional corporation?
Yes, Chairman.
Approximately how much was transferred to Hunter Biden and his business associates through Hudson West 3?
So the total transfers from Hudson West 3 to everyone was $3.7 million.
$3.7 million. How much money did Hunter Biden and his business associates receive from the Ukrainian company Burisma?
Burisma paid to everyone involved $6.5 million.
$6.5 million. Burisma also paid Blue Star Strategies and a law firm hundreds of thousands of dollars, bringing the total Burisma payments to over $7 million. Is that correct?
That is correct, $7.3 million.
$7.3 million. Between 2014 and 2019, this brings the total amount of foreign income streams received to approximately $17 million, correct?
That is correct.
Now, ultimately, we don't officially know why foreign entities were paying the Bidens millions and millions of dollars. No one in the Biden family is willing or able to answer that question. In so many cases, we know they had no experience at all in the partnerships that paid the millions, and it certainly wasn't Hunter's expertise in anything. At the time of these payments, he was an unreliable crackhead. It also is unclear why any other member of the Biden family was receiving foreign cash through shell corporations, given their, quote, limited abilities. And between Joe, Hunter, the weaponized DOJ, the politicized FBI, we are now witnessing in this country the single biggest abuse of power scandal in modern American history and corruption, and yet congressional Democrats, they don't seem to care. For them, protecting the big guy is way more important than ever doing the right thing. They lack the courage. They have no moral compass from today's whistleblowers. And to think, it wasn't that long ago when Democrats revered whistleblowers, even hearsay whistleblowers. Well, as it all turns out, it was all an act, and now we're suffering through one of the most corrupt administrations in the history of this country. But I can tell you tonight that the walls are beginning to close in very tight on the entire Biden family syndicate. We expect maybe Devin Archer will be speaking next week. Anyway, here with more, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. Sir, great to have you. Thanks, Chairman. Okay, so we hear from these two courageous whistleblowers today. One a Democrat, which was interesting. We heard from an FBI agent. We have a 1023 form. We have WhatsApp messages. You have suspicious activities reports and shell companies. Tell us, map out where this is all headed.
Well, we've accumulated a ton of evidence. That's something the Democrats aren't used to. They're used to just people like Adam Schiff and Jamie Raskins pulling stuff out of their rear ends saying it's fact. but we're trying to do it the right way, Sean. We're providing evidence, and you can't lie on bank records. And luckily, the IRS whistleblowers today verified what I've been saying for months. We found out on the House Oversight Committee in 5 months what the DOJ has supposedly been investigating for over 5 years. We found that the Bidens have taken millions and millions of dollars from our adversaries, and we don't know why they received the money. No one can explain one simple thing the Bidens did to receive those payments. Now, that's just to the president's son from 3 countries. There are many more countries where we're just now getting the bank records in, Sean. We just now got bank records in pertaining to Ukraine that we're pouring over. We're fixing to announce more wires from more countries. And you also have the president's brother. I mean, this is millions and millions of dollars that they never pay taxes on, and they can't account for a single penny of what they did to receive the money. All roads lead to Joe Biden, and still the president won't even admit that his family received this money.
Okay, now we all know about Joe bragging on tape that he leveraged $1 billion taxpayer dollars to get a prosecutor in Ukraine fired, which meant that his son's investigation in Ukraine came to an end, and his son continued to get paid for work that he admitted on Good Morning America he had no experience in. I had no idea that that was $6.5 million. I would think that tape alone would be enough to implicate the Bidens. Then the total number you got, not including China or Russia, if that exchange was correct that we just played, that was 17 million. China and Russia are 2 big countries that they did a lot of business with. How much money are we now talking in business that you think that the Biden family did with foreign entities, foreign countries, and why didn't they register as the FARA laws require?
They didn't register. That's another violation. Both the president's son and his brother have definitely committed the Foreign Agents Registration Act violation. That's a felony.
Congressman?
Well, that's a great question. And the Irish whistleblowers thought they should be charged too. This investigation by the IRS has been obstructed from the start, and they confirmed what I've been complaining on your show for months, Sean, that the Biden lawyers, the DOJ, the FBI, they're doing everything they can to intimidate witnesses, to obstruct our investigation. Just this week when we had the transcribed interview with the retired FBI agent who confirmed what the whistleblower said, right before he came in to do the transcribed interview, he got a letter from the FBI telling him not to cooperate with the Oversight Committee. I mean, there is example after example of the government stepping in, covering up all of the corruption that the Biden family's committed.
All right, I want to know, how much money do you believe the Biden family did in these foreign business deals? How much money are we talking about? And how much money do we think went to Joe? Because Hunter complains bitterly he gave half his income to Pops and had to pay for Pops' home repairs. And the big guy, and I'm sitting here next to my father in the WhatsApp message. Do you believe you'll be able to tie this money to Joe? And how much money in total? My exit question.
Well, I think there's going to be easily 25 to 30 million plus. And a big development happened today that I don't think anyone's picked up yet. I asked the question, the very last question I asked when I had time yielded to me by Representative Burleson in Missouri was, would you be willing to hand over the paperwork with respect to foreign transactions, because it's been almost impossible for my committee to subpoena bank records from foreign countries. The IRS has that, and they're willing to turn that over to the Ways and Means Committee, who will then hand it over to us. That's a big deal, Sean, because we suspect that the Bidens had offshore bank accounts, and that today was a huge development that'll open up a new door for us to move forward in our investigation.
The walls are closing in. Congressman, thank you for your hard work. Thank you for being here. Big day today.
Great job by Kentucky Davis Cofer.
You're a post reporter, John Levine. That's interesting, that latest development, that last question. But he outlined 17 million, and we're not even talking about Russia or China here.
No, I mean, a month